everyone, Jason at Bog Road Honey. Today we're going to super the dragon hive and troubleshoot the problem hive, also known as the brownworm hive. If you watch some other videos, I think we had some showing how they're kind of building some weird comb. So we're going to try something else, and I'll explain that when we get to it. Alright, so like I said, we're down at the brownworm hive in our apiary, and this has been our problem hive. They kind of been building some weird comb down in the brood chamber here. So we're going to try to fix that today. But let's get started. We started to do some build some propolis up in the propolis trap that we have here, which is the blue stuff. So aside from the dead bees in there, you can kind of see the propolis. Got some really good honeycomb built up top. They built their own. They're doing really well with the no foundation up here. So I think that's what we're gonna do with these guys down in the brood chamber as well. So hold on one second and get these out. One thing you want to be careful of, if you have a frame of no foundation, you do not want to pull that out until it's sealed at the bottom as well. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So if this is foundation. So if you had no foundation, it'd just be an empty square, which I'll also show you in a second. So you don't want to pull it out until it's reached the bottom here, or it's tied in on the sides, because if you pull it up, you can drop it and ruin it. So you definitely don't want to do that, because then there goes all your honey, at least on that frame. So this is full of honey, which we definitely like to see. Both sides, full of honey. It's uncapped, so we gotta wait till they cap it, but they're doing really well with that. That's an all wax base. The one I just showed you is a plastic base. And then, let's see. Looks like they got this one fully built out, so hold on. Yeah, so this is the frame that they've built. We're going to use that for comb honey. I don't want to turn it over, but they've built it from the top to the bottom within 2 weeks, period. So they're doing really well. Now, this is the honey supers weren't the problem though. I'll show you the problem in a second. Let's get these back in. Getting pretty heavy too. It's good. This is our second super. Also have really good comb being built in here. This had a different wax or a plastic base, so they seem to like that one better. So I'll keep a note of that. By my presence, I guess. Alright, so this is where we're having kind of that problem I was talking about earlier. Kind of building some weird comb. Get the queen excluder off. I did order some metal ones. They just haven't come in yet. It's been almost a month, so I don't know what's going on with that. I won't mention Tractor Supply's name. Alright, so they have actually changed this frame. I'm not sure if this is one I checkerboarded or not, but they doing really well again. They're keeping up with they're making baby bees, so they got brood down here, brood chamber. Set that one aside. Make sure our queen isn't on here. So we are still in swarming season, and I just noticed that there is looks like a capped, or close to being capped queen cell, so we'll have to take care of that. Come on. So, this was the weird comb I was talking about. They kind of built it all over the place, but that's not what I was worried about. Alright, so we got some, let me just make sure the queen isn't on here so I don't drop her outside the hive. There she is. She likes to hide. The mated queens will also like to hide in the dark, so they got passageways under here. But my main thing is I don't want to hurt her. All the bees are important, but she's the most important one. So give me 1 minute. So that's the end of an uncapped queen cell. So the queen is now hidden from me under here, so I'm not going to be able to get to her. So just keep that in mind, keep her on the outside here. But my main concern was these guys were really good at making queen cells and really weird comb. So it was making it really hard to get stuff back together after the inspection, so let's just make sure there's no other queen cells. Which we have more right there. Luckily, there's no eggs in any of the queen cells so far. You know, there is a certain point in time where if your colony is going to swarm, they're just going to swarm anyways, no matter what you do to prevent it. But these guys are doing better than they were last week. So in 7 days, they've kind of upgraded their condition, I guess you'd say. Last week I did checkerboard the frames here, so I kind of forced the fix, I guess you would say. But I'm still going to try the other method I was thinking. I'm not entirely sold on the single brood chamber method, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so this is one of the ones I was talking about. It's all kind of that weird comb. It's full of honey. They don't use it for anything else aside from storing honey, which is good for them going into winter, but we are not necessarily near winter right now. So I definitely think I'm going to do that other brood chamber and see if I can get the queen off of here. She's still hiding from me. Come on. Do not like the look of that. Those were all in the shape of queen cells. So I'm not entirely sure if they were, but just in case, we'll take care of them. They got some drone cells on here too. But I cannot find the queen. She's up under here somewhere. That's alright. So what we're going to do is get this one back together. Remember, want to go slow when you pull the frames in, or put the frames in and pull the frames out, because you could roll the bees, and you might roll your queen, which would obviously be really bad because it kills them. So, alright. First, what we're going to do is scrape the excess comb off here. So before I go to put it on, this is what my plan is to troubleshoot. they build comb on their own really, really well. So what I'm going to do is take another brood chamber, put it in, and alternate frame and frameless, or foundation and foundationless frames. So I got that all set up. I'm going to do it really quick so we don't hurt anyone. Try not to. Wax bucket / seats. All right. So that these brood chambers are actually really heavy. So as you can see, I've been talking about it. There's our screen bottom board. So what we're gonna do, put this one on, the empty one first, on the bottom. And then put our original super brood chamber back. Like I said, they're really heavy. So I'm doing this again for one of two reasons. I am testing out, like I said before, not entirely sold on the single brood chamber. I'm testing out to see if I like the double brood chamber. Doesn't matter to me, like I said in another video, as long as the bees are happy and they're making honey. So we just clean this off real quick. All right, so the idea of doing this method follows the same as top supering for honey. It forces the bees to come up through the undrawn section, and especially with these guys, the reason I put the empty frames in there is they like to draw their own comb, and they're on their own program. They're wild animals, so I guess they're right on, but this should work out really well, and then I should be able to split these at some point either this year or hopefully they'll last through the winter, and I'll split them next year into single brood chambers and probably do the same thing after that. So I'm gonna put the supers back on. I'm actually gonna change a couple frames out with the wax foundation ones, because these guys are building on those only and not the plastic, and it's just pointless to have them in there at this time. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Alright, so I know it's kind of hard to see, but if you can look, you'll see no foundation, fully drawn out, uncapped honey, all wax foundation, fully drawn out, with some capped honey, about half, no foundation, drawn out, and then you got your plastic frames, which they don't touch. So I'm going to change these out to the wax foundation, and hopefully we can get them building up more in this super. So I will take a picture of that in the end. It's pretty simple as to what I'm going to do next, so I'm going to stop the video here. The next video I plan to do was basically the setup of a beehive, the basics. So stand by for that. If you have any questions, let me know. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram.